Greater love has no one than this. To lay down one's life for one's friends. Walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us. As a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God.
In 2019, we purchased land for the expansion of Child Development Embassy in Bwera, Uganda. This year, we will continue to fund the school through the building of 8 classrooms to enable the school to grow from 143 to 500 students in the community, providing education, a hope, and a future to create a lasting impact in the community through this generation.
Sama and her mother Noor had no idea why they were falling sick every few days. They live in a slum community where 90% of the pregnant women are anemic, and a majority don't have the money for basic iron supplements or nutritious food. Their slum community is also one where nearly half the population has borrowed money to pay for medical aid. The family couldn't afford 3 simple meals a day, and their poverty forced them to use the public toilets far away from their home. A year ago, through our giving in Vision Builders, Vision Rescue was able to open a learning center inside Sama's slum community and welcome over 300 children like Sama into quality pre-primary education for the first time in their lives. This is just one story of many lives being changed through education. This year, we are excited to continue partnering with Vision Rescue in India. Over the past year, we have funded the education, healthcare, and nutrition for over 60 students at the community center in Mandala slum. We will be continuing to support these beautiful children and families.
We are excited to be supporting 5 incredible partnerships this year in the Middle East and Central Asia. Throughout Vision Builders, we have seen God move in a region of the world that is highly dangerous and persecuted. These pastors are bringing the message of Christ to areas where governments and radicals are trying to eliminate Christians. We will be supporting churches in Baghdad, Kyrgyzstan, and Syria.
Hey C3 New York City, your heart for the gospel and for people is breathtaking and you inspire us. On behalf of C3 Reach, I want to thank you for helping us. We're working in supporting 117 churches in persecuted countries. In Central Asia, you're helping. We're using Kyrgyzstan as a base. We've got some incredible people like Gulnur, a single woman who's on the border of Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, those areas. And it's terrible. There's a civil war. There have been people going in there with machine guns mowing down children, and she's there proclaiming gospel, and you're working with her. Thank you for praying for me too. I've been detained so far 7 times in different countries. Your giving is making an incredible difference. These stories cannot happen without generous people whose hearts are being touched by grace and whose hands move. God is able to do immeasurably more. Thank you so much.
Right now in America, there are 43 million people living in medical debt. Medical debt has destroyed the financial stability of large segments of America's most vulnerable communities, the sick, the elderly, the poor, and veterans. It also particularly targets the middle class, driving many families who are barely getting along into poverty.
You were the guy that had to call up and say, pay up. In a nutshell, what was your message?
Message was, you owe this bill and we need to have payment.
What made you want to make a difference and help people?
Well, I'll tell tell you, when you go to work and you're having to make 200 calls a day to people that can't afford to pay, it just wears on you. At 5 o'clock, you just want to go home. Now, I can't wait to get up.
Their medical debt has been paid off, no questions asked.
So that was a major miracle for us.
She's read this letter more times than she can count, but she can't help but ask herself,
Why me?
So what do you think it is?
I was blessed.
As we partner with RIP Medical Debt this year, we will be able to help New Yorkers be forgiven of their debt. Our giving allows us to purchase debt at pennies on the dollar and forgive it forever. Those that are helped, their debt is forgiven. We will be able to forgive $5 million of medical debt, equaling 2,500 families through our united giving this year in Vision Builders.
We are excited to announce, as part of Vision Builders, we will be helping in the funding of C3 Philly's first official year as a church plant. We have helped support the visa process for Pastors Colin and Beth this past year, and we are excited as they build a life-giving church in Philadelphia, reaching people for Jesus in a city that needs the love of God.
We want to be ready to respond when a crisis hits our nation. Our love is meant to shine as a beacon to the world and to be a love that takes action to lift up and provide for those in need. The church can be the hands and feet of Jesus if we join together in generosity.
We believe the church exists to bless the city we live in, to shine bright and glorious, to point people to the one true Savior, Jesus Christ, not just with words, but more importantly with our actions. To that end, in 2020, we are excited to be partnering with organizations across NYC to have a greater city impact in the neighborhoods we call home.
Our heart is to reach our city throughout every season. We will be launching Christmas, Easter, and fall seasonal initiatives to impact our neighborhoods in a greater way through Vision Builders. This Christmas, we will be launching a C3 Christmas shop in a city where parents feel stress and pressure to provide extravagant gifts on Christmas morning. Our C3 Christmas shop is an opportunity to love our neighbors and our city who can't afford Christmas. The heart behind the Christmas shop is to share the joy of that first Christmas when God gave Jesus and showed the world that He is the perfect gift giver. By loving our city through this radical act of generosity, families will know not only the love of C3, but the love of God.
Over 900,000 youth are arrested each year. This leads to over 54,000 youth in juvenile facilities, in home confinement, being secured with officers, people surrounding them, telling them they're not good enough, they have no future. This is their identity. Our heart in this ministry is to share that their identity is in Jesus. There is a God that loves them, and this is not who they are. These are kids. These are ages from 11 to 17. So this year with our C3 NYC prison ministry, we've been able to launch dinner parties. I know at C3 NYC, we say a dinner party on every block, and we believe that. We believe a dinner party in every group home, every close to home facility, and every juvenile facility. We get to love on them, accept them, and just really share why we're there, and that is to love them. So this year through Vision Builders, we're so excited to partner up with Youth for Christ as we launch our first service in our Horizon Juvenile Facility. This is a secured facility in the Bronx where we're gonna get to go do a service. We're gonna get to share the word. We're gonna get to dive into lessons and just learn about this love that we're extending and sharing. Together we can break this cycle through the love of Jesus. And that's what this is all about.
Since the launching of our urban garden in 2017, we have donated over 275 pounds of produce to a food pantry organized by Neon Kitchen. Neon Kitchen works in partnership with the New York City Department of Probation, providing groceries, recipes, nutrition tips, and monthly cooking demonstrations at their 5 locations. Our donations are given to the Brooklyn location, which provides groceries to over 80 families on a weekly basis. That's groceries for over 4,000 families annually. What started as a rooftop growing 8 types of vegetables in 2017 has now multiplied to 18 different crops in 2019, thanks to the hard work of volunteers. With the expansion to the tiny farm in Hudson, New York, and with your help, we look to double our output from the past 2 years and aim to donate at least 300 pounds of produce in 2020. Our Williamsburg mural and subway ads in this past year have been the gateway for so many people to find Christ in the local church. Our heart is to bring the message of Jesus to our city in creative and compelling ways, to win hearts to Jesus and open doors to community through new murals and subway ads in the upcoming year.
Vehicle continues to fly well. PU continues to control nominally.
Whether we were in the same room or far apart, the church is God's people. Meeting in stadiums or living rooms, we are the local church. Each of us a temple, the meeting place of heaven and earth. The unity between us calls us into family, a kingdom family. And in this kingdom, there's always a seat at the table. Every year, we've taken ground in New York City, new locations planted, services launched, dinner parties owning their block. Over the past year, we have seen 641 decisions for Christ, 1,389 new people finding home at C3 NYC, and 164 baptisms. Our newest location in Queens is now 12 months old and has grown from 1 service to 2 services, with 428 active members, 118 decisions for Christ, and 312 visitors. C3 NYC, we are a church that takes God at His word. We believe for revival as we prepare for the harvest, and that means that just like the love of God, we won't give up. After 6 years of planting and expanding, we are so excited tonight to step out as a church to launch our 6th location. We are in prayer of where God will lead us into one of these new neighborhoods in NYC. In the 20th century, Harlem was the setting for African American-led movements in music, literature, dance, and art, collectively known as the Harlem Renaissance. Harlem is both a destination and a crossroads that connects the neighborhoods of Upper Manhattan. The Bronx remains the poorest borough in our city, with a median household income of $37,525. The birthplace of hip-hop and rap, this diverse borough sees over 75 languages spoken in its streets. Flushing is the 4th largest central business district in New York City, as well as a densely populated residential area. Roughly 2/3 of the locals in this family-orientated neighborhood are first-generation immigrants. We believe these neighborhoods can be impacted and forever changed by the love of Christ. So we are excited to see where God will lead us to plant our 6th location. New York has always been a city of influence, a multicultural melting pot of millions. And here we've seen revival. The light pierced the darkness, a dinner party on every block, salvation here and now. But it shouldn't stop here. We've planted locations across NYC, now we want to go global. Join us as we believe in faith and travel around the world to plant a future location in Paris. 2020 will be a year of sowing seeds, building relationships, hosting visions and worship nights, and launching dinner parties. What we give this year will be just the beginning, so that we can plan to launch Paris as our first global location in 2021. Paris is a city that lives in tension. Word on the streets is that there is no God, or that if there is, He is a distant concept that cannot touch reality. But we're here to say, the good news can be your reality. Paris has been called the City of Lights, but we believe it will be a city on a hill. That Paris will see the dinner parties becoming lighthouses, the local church being a beacon, and each of us stepping out to shine the light of Christ. In Paris, as it is in heaven.
We want to continue and expand our broadcast so that we can see even more lives saved and reached with the message of hope and love. Throughout our broadcast messages, we have seen over 200 lives come to Jesus. This is just the beginning of what God can do through His Word across our locations. In order to see more lives change through broadcasts, we need to purchase and enhance our equipment and technology across locations this year.
We are creating an online campus platform that will serve as the launching point for expanding what God is doing through this house out to people who do not live near a life-giving church in their community. We will be live streaming a message of hope and love online and create a space for those who are far to come near to the heart of God.
This year, we are excited to make room for many more people to find home at C3 here in NYC. We will be continuing to invest into the expansion of our production and worship experience. As we create an atmosphere of acceptance, love, and welcome, a place that feels like home and glorifies God with its beauty and excellence, we know many people in NYC will truly find a home in God's house.
This year, we've written and been singing new songs across our Sunday locations, songs that display the heartbeat of our church. In 2020, we will release fresh music projects, including a live album. We are excited for these songs of worship, praise, and surrender to resonate and bring freedom for the people of New York City and around the world. C3 Youth is on the rise. The youth of this city are almost completely unchurched people. More than 50% of the students who attend or have attended C3 Youth have never stepped foot inside a church. We have a heart to bridge the gap for the unchurched youth, introduce the gospel, and help them take the next step in their relationship with Jesus. We have reset our youth program with Friday night cruise and launched Sunday Youth, conducting our own services at each location with games, fun, and uplifting messages that will help grow our youth and families. In the next season, our focus will be on increasing our presence across all 5 boroughs through weekly cruise and outreach programs.
What God has done here in New York City is just a taste of the vision He has for dinner parties. In 2020, we are wanting to expand dinner parties in NYC through a vision of a dinner party on every block. This will be helped by developing a new app for enabling resourcing, training, equipping, connection between leaders and people. And also tonight, we are announcing we are going to be launching a global dinner party network. The heart behind this is to help churches around the world. So far, we have already had 680 churches subscribe to do our training and take on dinner parties in their community. With just a simple idea and training, this vision of dinner parties has expanded across the globe. We believe dinner parties are an answer to many churches and cities. Through Vision Builders, we are going to be investing in this app and technology to train and equip leaders in places that don't yet have life-giving churches or churches that don't yet have life-giving small groups.
This year, we will continue to invest in an excellent Sunday experience for kids and parents so that more families find a church home where they can grow deeper in community. This means sound equipment, lighting, venue improvements, and more that will elevate our spaces so kids can experience a message, worship, ministry, friendship, and fun together. We will also be investing in the continued creation of our own C3 Kids curriculum, tailored to the culture and needs of a vibrant, spirit-centered kids ministry.
This summer, we kicked off monthly nights of worship at our downtown Manhattan location and are seeing growth and new faces walk through the doors. We are excited for the launch of a weekly night service in 2020 through Vision Builders to reach a greater amount of people in Manhattan.
We live in a city of rentals and leases. At C3 NYC, we've been faithful with every space and every door God has opened. Warehouses, music venues, and auditoriums have been transformed into incredible spaces to worship God, experience community, and grow in His Word. Through Vision Builders, we have saved for the purchase of a multi-purpose facility. In 2020, our vision is to continue saving for a ministry center in Manhattan, a building at the heart of the city that would house the C3 offices, training spaces, prayer meetings, youth gatherings, and a creative studio. This studio would become our headquarters for filming videos and projects to enhance our training content that equips and encourages leaders in our church and beyond.
This is what Vision Builders is all about, building the house of God. This is how we put down roots in this city and step into a kingdom inheritance, not just for us and our present needs, but for those yet to come. This is sowing into the soil of NYC that will yield a harvest of souls transformed by the love of God. The church cannot be contained by bricks and mortar, but by the living stones of God's temple. This generation is called to step out in generosity and to see the church truly stand as chief among the mountains, a beacon of light to shine for those to come.